Do you attribute to that, and how do you attribute Illinois coming back in the game and making it tough?
Yeah, well, I thought, going into the Arizona game, going into this game, both dominant rebounding teams, we responded in those areas. I know they obviously got some offensive rebounds too, but we had 18 and they had 12, and we out-rebounded by 15. So I thought we were great in that area. They still had their moments where they got tip dunks and kept balls alive, but our guys were really focused there. I thought we were really good defending one of their teams, but the other team we weren't. So if you look, when they had size in the game and they didn't go to their – I just call their lineup when they're skilled with Hawkins and Guerrier at the 5-4, their smaller lineup. So when they went small right there, we didn't have the discipline that we needed. We fouled too much. We jumped up on our closeouts, left our feet too much. But with all that being said, like Marcus Damask is a hell of a player. Like, he is a really good player. Guerrier, Hawkins, Luke Goody was fabulous. I love Ty Rodgers. We tried to get Ty Rodgers. He's a hard-charging dude. He's about winning. On down the line, they have a good basketball team. Harmon, didn't get going, only hit 1 3 in this game, but he's the one that's got a little bit more minutes with Terrence Shannon being out. Yeah, and he stepped up and made some threes and gives them more skill and athleticism, and I like their team. And like I said, I thought our guys did a really good job defending them when they had that group in there. When they didn't, I thought Illinois got the best of us.
Matt, Trey spends a lot of time, obviously, in the shadow of Zach Edey. Tonight really stepped up. He's been playing really well the last, most of the season.
Right.
How much was this an example of just how good he is as a player?
Yeah, just, his ability to be around the rim. Zach gets so much attention a lot of times in the way that the game is played now that you stay spaced and you let Zach just kind of maneuver down there. And when we play different lineups, like with Mason in the game, we do that. But when him and Caleb are in the game at the 4, we've really, tried to get them around the rim more, get more rebounds, get more post-ups, and just try to hold the second biggest guy on the court accountable. A lot of people want to double with size because, that's the best way to get a trap and make it hard to pass. Zach's so big that at times it just doesn't bother him. So now he gets those spray-out threes or he gets those dives there. But I just thought Trey was active. The way he played tonight, that's the way he played the whole summer. That's how he kind of got himself in this position. You don't see it as much because he doesn't play heavy minutes all the time, even though he starts. And then, when Braden's got it rolling or Zach's got it rolling, sometimes you don't get the ball as much, and rightfully so. But I thought he was fabulous tonight. And if you want to grab an individual, he's probably the difference for us.
So you decided to keep Zach out there at the end of the first half. What was the thought process behind that?
When Zach was out in the first half?
Yeah, the rest of the half.
Yeah, he had 2 fouls. So I didn't play him there. I wanted to start the second half with him having 2 fouls. I didn't want him to get that third. And then obviously he gets the third and the fourth in that second half. But the other thing is, so when you get to that 2 fouls, some people just have like a rule and they just stay with their rule. You get 2 fouls, you're not going to play. Or some coaches will ignore it totally. And they'll just say, you're just going to play on. I just kind of go time and score. We were positive when he was out of the game in the first half. So we played well. And so we, either kept the lead or extended the lead. So like right there, you're just securing your investment and you're keeping him on the bench right there. So now he's ready. And so we have him at the end of the game. And then when they go small, that really puts us in a bind. That puts us in a bind. Now they're in a big bind on the other end too. So it can flip on you. But when people are coming from behind, doesn't always feel that way.
Yeah, and then that second, once he did come out and you guys extended the lead, was that the best or some of the best basketball you've seen your team play in that kind of smaller lineup without Zach?
Yeah, we played well. We played well with him, and we played well without him in that stretch there. We had some moments there to where we were small and we matched up to them, and they got the best of us in the second half. I thought their offense was definitely better than our defense in that second half when they were smaller. And so there's no doubt, when we go to Champaign, we're going to see a lot of that. But we also got to be able to flip it on the other end when he's down there. But no, I thought our guys did some good things. I just didn't think we were very fundamentally sound, and I thought we didn't have the discipline on the defensive end in the second half at times.
Obviously, stuff happens in terms of the 2 untimely one-on-ones missed. But anything at the end of the game that you wanted to see your team be better to close the game a little bit stronger and head off that run?
Yeah, I didn't see the flagrant foul. Like, so I saw bodies go, but it was, 60 feet away from me. So I haven't seen that yet. So obviously we just fouled too much. Like Luke Goody gets a rebound and two of our guards sandwich him and just foul him on the baseline. You just hand him points. Then they go and they play dribble down basketball. And then we had a guy just, reach a couple times. And right there, it's just 6 points you're handing him. And, and Damask proves that he can make tough shots and get to the rim and make plays, but still make somebody make plays. Like, don't let them get free throws and be able to do that. So just kind of that lack of discipline, on the defensive end. We got to learn to, play a lot smarter than that. And they just kept kind of creeping back in. But I thought our guys did a good job. We handled the basketball, handled the press. We made our free throws. We shot 80% from the line, so I thought that was good.
Matt, you've talked a lot this year about buying in, and when these guys go to the locker room, they see the words "play hard" up there, and I think back to when Zach's out of the game there, you get 2 tip-out offensive boards that leads to an open layup for Lance.
Yeah.
Get back on D, get a stop, and then get a transition 3 from Cam.
Yep.
How big of a momentum swing was that moment with that lineup on the floor?
Yeah, that was huge. To get that kind of tap back hustle play for a layup and then push in transition. And that was something we talked about with them. Like, everybody crashes the glass. So we thought if we could get rebounds, we could outlet it to Braden and really push it. We had a couple passes there in transition that we just got to, keep it simple. But that stretch right there was huge for us and huge for our confidence.
Matt, you did this with Travion and Zach a couple years ago, just looking at the production out of your center position for 40 minutes. Are you getting kind of similar numbers from your 4 spot now with Mason and Trey?
Yeah, I mean, both of those guys, Mason Gillis had 3 different injuries from the Maryland game. How do you get 3 injuries? Got a black eye, sprained his wrist or his thumb or something, and then sprained his big toe. And so he didn't practice yesterday, and I thought he gave an unbelievable effort. I thought, huh? He could have. Yeah, he could have. So, but man, he was hurting. And, he went out there and laid it on the line, and he's played well against Illinois through the years. And, you never doubt, him being on board and trying to do little things to help us win. But, we're getting, great production. And that's what we got to keep getting, from those guys. 'Cause that really puts them in a bind. They're coming back, and Trey Kaufman just, shoots that 3 like he's Ray Allen. Like, I was like, holy shit. Like, okay, it went in. Like, but he works, man. That wasn't magic tonight. Like, he's really worked on his free throws. He's worked on his shot. He's worked on his game. He's put a lot of time in, just like Mace. Mace puts a lot of time into his game, so I'm happy for those guys.
Matt, the flagrant on Lance, kind of what did you see and what was explained to you?
I saw the end of it, so I didn't see the actual. I didn't even know it was a block out. It started with the block out. So they explained it that he blocked out. And the one thing that you got to do on your blockouts when somebody's coming or somebody is right there is you got to jump. So like now the offensive guy jumps and you keep coming. It's an automatic foul. If that's exactly what happened. That's how it got explained to me. Like I said, I didn't see it. But it was a big momentum, right? They hit the 2 free throws. They get the ball back. So I don't remember what happened right there when they got the ball back. If they scored, travel, beautiful, good, yeah. So like but it was a big play. It was a big play. The travel's probably a bigger play, right? Because now they hit a 3 right there, like we're up against it. They had to get it to a possession game a lot earlier than they did,
Hey, Matt, talk about Zach. Here's the guy, reigning player of the year, cheering on his teammates. I mean, he's so excited for his teammates. Unselfishness on the guy. What do you say about that guy in your program, cheering on everybody else on the team?
Yeah, he's been great. Like, he doesn't have, the crap that comes with a highly recruited guy. He just doesn't. Like, he's very humble. He's very selfless. He's a willing passer. You see when they come in there, like he gets Lance that 3. He gets Trey on it, like you get somebody that averages whatever the hell he averages, 22 and 12, and they get 10 and 15, and they're hanging their head. Like, that's the last thing he would do. Robbie Hummel was that way for us, and he'd get 4 points in a game, and he's all conference, and it wouldn't bother him. He just, it's about winning, and Zach's about winning. But like, for him to get 1,000 rebounds in his career, and he averaged 3 points in his last year of high school. He got 1,000 rebounds, only 2nd player in the history of Purdue basketball behind the great Joe Barry Carroll. only the 17th in the history of the Big Ten. So it's pretty cool. He deserves everything that comes his way.
Matt Braden had 10 points early, no turnovers in the first half. It just seems his turnovers kind of come in short spurts.
Right.
What'd you see in the second half, and what do you attribute that to?
Like I talked about the transition play, like that was just a pass that he doesn't put on the money there, and then other night he jumped in the air a couple times. He's done a really good job of staying away from it, and had a couple turnovers against Maryland. We really talked about it, and when he stayed on 2 feet or kept his dribble alive, good things happen. But then he jumps in the air on the other one right there. Just has to, we ask a lot of him, but he just has to stay, with it. When he gets fatigued, he's got to be more simple because he needs probably a little bit more of a break. But sometimes we don't have time for that break, but no, he's great. I wouldn't trade him for anybody in the country. He's done a lot for our program.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.